as we've seen, a number of cities around the world, beginning with Milan, for example, emerging from lockdown after the Italian pandemic, immediately began adapting a plan to convert 35 kilometers of roadways from spaces purely for cars into hybrid pathways for bicycles and pedestrians as well, using this opportunity to expand the capacity of its roads to capture those people who otherwise would take public transport. But then after that, how will we proceed from there? And interestingly enough, I worked on a plan for central Paris with my friend Philippe Chiambretta, an architect there, to reimagine the Champs-Élysées ahead of the 2024 Summer Olympics. And in this case, we imagine taking 8 lanes of traffic for cars, keeping some of that for traffic, but expanding the pathways and restaurants around it, giving paths for micromobility and pedestrians, thinking about how we could create sort of new boulevards and arterials for the interior of Paris, and in doing so solidify those gains of what Mayor Anne Hidalgo has described as her 15-minute city, reimagining the cities of nodes of molecules where people can get wherever they need to go in their immediate surroundings in the next 15 minutes. And in doing so, eliminate the need for these across the metropolis journeys that require so much carbon. But of course, the other trend that feeds into this about open streets is information. And of course, Waze knows this better than anyone. Here's a fun slide from a German artist who right before lockdown wandered around with 99 smartphones tuned into Google Maps and walked around creating instant traffic jams. And of course, this was very amusing to most civilians. Yet another example of how information about the street transformed behavior about the street, creating a supposed traffic jam where there was none. But we're seeing cities after cities like Los Angeles are insisting that they have more control over this kind of information. And it was in that spirit that the city of LA, of course, negotiated with Waze and Apple Maps and others to basically insist on being able to tune the map to cause drivers to slow down near schools or around certain intersections and so forth, recognizing that they need to have control over the public realm as it extends into your information layer. So perhaps bikes and scooters could use it for free. Waze Carpool would have the lowest tolling charges, while purely private vehicles, perhaps internal combustion engine, would pay the most and electric slightly less. It would allow city planners to precisely toll and guide behavior around the cities. So the pandemic has given us this new perspective on what our streets are, not simply means of conveyances for cars, but an entirely new and supple tool to reimagine what public space can be and what our economies can be.